Illusion of Escape.
Sophie had spent years building a life that balanced love, ambition, and the needs of her daughter, Ella. From the early mornings of endless work to the quiet nights of storytelling and homework, she had carved out stability in a world that seemed determined to disrupt it. Every obstacle, every crisis, had been met with patience, ingenuity, and unwavering care. But the world outside wasn't patient. Pressures piled, economic uncertainty, societal unrest, the slow creep of fear in everyday headlines, and yet Sophie and her partner had managed together to shield Ella from most of it. She had believed that their home, their routines, their shared commitment were enough to cultivate a sense of safety, of normalcy. Then the breakup came. The split left Sophie raw. Her heart ached with the thought that the life she had painstakingly built could now unravel. Friends whispered advice. One of them mentioned an isolated farm far from the chaos of the city, claiming it held the answer to all her questions, a place where she could protect Ella completely. And so, driven by heartbreak and desperation, Sophie chose flight over resolution. She took Ella, leaving behind the city she had once called home, the partner who had shared her burdens, and the routines that had given her a sense of control. Out there, on a remote farm, she imagined a sanctuary where no harm could touch her daughter, where they could start over. At first, it felt like freedom. The fields were wide, the air fresh, and the nights silent. But soon, the illusions of safety began to crumble. One afternoon, Ella came home from school, small hands trembling as she told Sophie about what she had seen. A familiar neighbor exchanging drugs on the street, a window smashed by someone's reckless anger, a fight breaking out where she had once walked safely. Sophie's heart sank. The world she had tried to outrun had followed her, not in physical proximity, but in the inevitability of human disorder. She realized that isolation could not shield them from reality, because reality wasn't a place, it was a truth she carried with her. Fear, chaos, and misfortune are not always preventable. Over time, Sophie began to remember that she had spent nurturing Ella under far more challenging circumstances, yet still with success. She had learned, through love and persistence, that stability comes not from fleeing, but from trust in one's own resilience. She had already built a life where she and Ella thrived together despite the pressures outside their home. And so the farm, the isolation, the running, they all became a mirror of a single lesson. Running does not change the world, nor does it erase fear. Only courage, patience, and belief in oneself can provide the lasting safety and love a child truly needs. Sophie held Ella close that evening, watching the sun sink behind the distant hills. She understood now that her heart, once scattered by fear, could find its center again. She could not control every outside force, but she could control the love she poured into her daughter. And that, she realized, had always been enough.
Thanks for listening. Like, share, comment.